Okay. Okay. So I'm audible to you all, right? Let's
Yes.
start.
Yes.
Yeah. So, so this is the method called M1. So now this is called var args that we'll read. Okay, next class. But right now you just consider here is var args. We have int, integer, double. This is called wrapper that also will read. And here we have double. And now I'm passing integer value. I'm running this method. Okay. Okay. So what is happening here? So because I'm passing here, what we call integer, so it's going and invoking the integer, right? Let me do one thing. Let me pass double now. Obj dot m1, right? Second 10.0d. Okay. So it's going with double, right? Similar thing. Obj dot m1. Okay, let me pass here 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So can you tell me like any where it will go? So what I'm passing here, how many argument I'm passing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 argument. So where it will go? Which method
To
will
the
get?
first
The first
method.
one.
Yeah.
The first one. The first method.
So anyhow we'll read in detail, but right now we remember this. So this method, right, this is called variable argument. Okay. So if you have here, this is like a variable. Here we have this data type and this three dots, right? So basically what happened if you write it here string. So any string, any when you call this method, so let assume if you're having 5 arguments, 6 arguments, 10 arguments, so it will accept everything. Okay. And where to place and all, anyhow we will read that one. But right now you just remember, like this is also a part of method overloading. Okay. Like we have int num. So this is this argument we call as variable argument. We have a
Um,
yes. Tell me.
yeah, sorry for the interruption. So just assume that I'm sending 4 arguments, 4 int arguments, and if I want to consume the second one, so how we can get that the second variable?
Yeah. So that is very right question. So always remember this num, right? This variable argument internally it's a array. Okay. So this num is there, na? This is array. Okay. So if you have
Okay.
this length, it will return a property. So you simply have to do, let assume you want to print the fourth one. Let me do that. So nums.
Okay. It's a kind of array only then, right?
Yeah, it's kind of array, but they have
Okay.
updated, I think in Java 7. Okay. They have
Okay.
made it variable argument. Okay. So that is the reason.
Okay. So if we are passing as array, we need to define the size, but here we don't need
Don't
to
have to
need
decide
that,
that.
right?
Okay, one more thing, let me do that. Okay. So array when you initialize, right? When you initialize the array, then you need a size. Okay. But when
Yeah,
you
right.
take as argument, it's not needed. But the
Okay.
thing is that here, it will not resolve. It will ask you to create array because this is now nums is now array type. Okay. So it's kind of array. Okay. But it will take all this parameter. It directly you cannot invoke now. Okay. You have to make this thing into array and then you will invoke this. Okay. But
Okay.
if you use args, okay. So no issue. So why we use it and all, we have a specific class for that. Okay. So you cannot use this as a first argument. Okay. You cannot have this. Okay. Like that. So there are certain rules that we'll learn about that. That is into next class. But right now we have to focus on this. Okay. So method overloading is clear to you all, right? Always remember this this more access modifier and the return type have no use in method overloading. Okay. But when we are going with method overriding, right? In that one, it's very important to know about the return types and all, and what exception that is throwing and all. Okay. Okay. So this is clear. Method overloading is clear. So we'll start today. Before going to the recursion, so we'll learn about this public static void main. Okay. So mostly like we use this one, right? Every time, and we know very less about that. Okay. So we learn about that, and also call by reference, call by value, and then we learn var argument. Clear to you all?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me start with this method, this public static void main. Okay. So if someone asks that in I think SAP Lab or some company always asks this question, why this main method have return type void? What is the reason? Why it's have void? Why it's not returning anything? Okay. So you always remember this because this is a starting of execution point. So that is JVM doesn't need anything from main method. That is the reason we have void as a return type for main. Okay. Now, who call this main method? If someone asks who call this main method, I am running this one, right? I'm just coming and running this one. So it's who is calling main method right now? If can you answer? Any one of you answer who is calling main method? Like, see this M1, right? I'm calling it here, line number 10, right? This M1, I'm calling it here, or line number 11. But who is calling main method? We are calling it? No, right? We are not calling it. This is
Yeah.
method definition, right? So who call main method?
JVM.
JVM call main method. So JVM know only one thing. JVM collect the argument from command line and invoke this method. JVM don't know any other method. But when we learn in Java 23-22, we learn like without main also, like we can execute or not. That is different thing. But right now you have to know that JVM invoke this main method with certain arguments, whatever you pass in the command line. Okay, it will look for a main. If it doesn't find main, what will happen? There is no execution. Okay, clear? Okay. So now I have written here public static void main. So in some places you go, what they will use to do, they just remove a static from here. Okay. And now they will ask you, this program will run or not? Now you have to answer me. This program will run or not?
Yes, actually,
It
still
won't
this program
because
will run.
This
yeah,
program
we
will,
need the static, right? Without creating the object, the method should be called, right? Main method.
yeah, that is you guys have to answer it. This program will run or not? So you just have to analyze like why it will not run and all.
Actually, this program will run. However, it should be handled with another main method, maybe any other classes
Okay, so now let's assume we don't have main.
independently.
We don't have any other main method. We have whatever we have with this single file. So can we execute this file or not?
Yeah. So then only single file means it will not execute because JVM does not know the class names or method names.
Correct. Correct. So JVM doesn't know that. JVM always look for static because this which type of method this is? First tell me. If I remove a static, this is become instance method, right? To invoke this method, what we need? We need the object of this, right?
Yes.
Correct. But to invoke a static method, JVM can invoke a static method because when class get loaded into the main memory, a default object will get created. With help of that object, JVM used to invoke not exact that object, that default class. With the help of default class, JVM used to invoke a static method. Okay, so it will get the from that object, it will get the class reference, and then it will invoke main method. Okay, so this is the first thing. Okay, then public Is someone talking like if anyone is talking, it's not audible.
Sorry, I will go on mute.
Okay. So this is static public voidman. Initially we used to write like public static voidman. Can we write a static public voidman for main method? So now this program will execute or not? It will execute. So you can switch these places of public and static, right? So it's same. So public static voidman, static public voidman, same. Okay, clear? Okay. Now just now we have learned about overloading. Like, can we overload main method? Okay, the question always you will get in interview: can we overload main method? So if someone asks you, can you overload main method? What will you answer?
No,
Why?
because static methods cannot be overloaded, right?
Okay, that is correct. But you can also say that they will say, okay, you are saying you cannot overload that. Okay, we'll see here. We can overload. We are not overloading. Okay, remember, we are not overriding. Overloading, I'm asking. Okay, the answer which you given, which is correct, but not in the context of overloading. Okay, now see, I'm trying to overload this one. Okay. So public static void when everything is same. Okay, let me make it int. So it's overloaded or not?
Yeah, it's overloaded, I guess.
Okay, no issue. But the thing is that JVM doesn't know about this main method. Okay, you can overload, but for JVM, which main method JVM will look for? JVM will look for this. So if you want to execute this, you have to call it. Where you will call it? Okay, let me remove this code here. I will just perform here system.out.println. Okay, hello. I want to execute this method where I can call a one. Let me copy this. Let me call it inside main method. Why I want to call it inside main method? Okay, so it's having int args. So new. You know how to create single line initialization, right? You remember, you guys, right? So I'm just passing. This is which type of array this is? Anonymous array, right? It doesn't have name. I am just invoking this one, right? Okay. So this we can overload, but the only thing is that it's not invoked by JVM. Clear to you all? Clear, right?
Yes. Yes. So let me reiterate, so we can overload the static methods, right?
Yeah,
And
you
we
can
can overload the main
overload.
method as well.
Yes, you can overload. You
Okay.
can
Okay.
overload. But
Okay.
there is a different thing that is called overriding. Overriding,
Okay. Yeah.
that we
Yeah, I
learn.
got it.
So people used to confuse in between overloading and overriding. Riding. Okay. 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 So now you got clear. This static method is normal static method which a class used to have. Okay. There is no relation with JVM, but this will have. This is invoked by JVM. This method, for if you want to execute this method, you cannot directly execute. You need a help of main method, which that is the reason I'm calling it here. And which type of argument I'm passing? This is called anonymous array, so it doesn't have reference and all. Okay, clear to you all, right? Okay, now we'll learn this. What is this public? Why it's public? They used to ask why it's public. Why main method is public? So what you will answer?
Hello.
You don't know why main method is public.
So, hello.
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, so before moving to the access, so will the JVM overload the both main methods?
JVM doesn't overload. We are overloading it.
Okay.
So
So JVM only run the string argument main method only, right?
yes, JVM know only string args.
Okay.
JVM doesn't know. It's like, see, what is overloading? Having a same name with different argument, right? So I'm
Yeah.
having a same name and with different argument. It doesn't matter this thing, right? As already I discussed, right? This thing doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Okay. So now JVM don't know in int args, right? JVM only know string args. So it will invoke this. But for us, like
Okay.
for this class method overloading, it's have two main method, this and this. You can invoke either one, right? With when you pass a respective argument, right?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Got it. Got it. So JVM only no string argument, right? So
Yes.
the first main method only can run by the JVM. So inside the main method, we have invoked another main integer main method,
Yes. So this
integer
may,
argument main method.
yes, this method is a entry point. Okay. Basically, if you see on
Yeah.
the point of JVM, JVM doesn't know about this. It
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
care. Okay. You can have n number of main methods. Okay. Let assume I can create
Okay.
one more, but I will create with white array. It's just like a normal method, okay, which have name main. The only relation they are having, like because it's getting declared inside one class, so it's like it's getting overloaded, right? But this main JVM knows this main is belong to this class. Okay, JVM directly cannot invoke this. It will only invoke with the help of when you manually invoke. Like here I'm manually calling, right? See here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like that you can call
Got it.
Python also. Okay, and this is anonymous, right? Clear to you all? Okay. Now my question is why JVM is why JV sorry, oh, JVM was I'm saying I was just asking why this main method is public.
Yeah. Then only JVM can able to access the main method.
Yes, it's like so that so that it can be accessed from anywhere. Okay, so JVM
Yeah.
can easily access this. That is the one thing. Okay, now second point. Remember everything, whatever I'm talking, you guys have to you go through the video, make a note. Okay, okay. Now string args, right? So if you see here, before going to the var args, can I do same thing here? It's similar. Okay, so you can like that also you can write. Clear to you all? So it will behave as it is was behaving previously. Okay, there is no change. The only change is that in the place of string array, I'm using string args, which is kind of same. Okay, clear to you all?
Yeah.
Okay, so I will tell you one more thing. Can we run Java application without main method? Okay, so it was possible before Java 7 with a static initializer. You all have to remember, we no need to go into the detail because that is not useful. Just if someone in interview say, okay, it was there before, you always say like I started from Java 7. You can ask anything from Java 7 to Java 23 once your course is done. Okay, and when you face the interview. So we say no, there is a way. Yes, I heard that there is might a way with a static initializer block. You can do that, but I have never done that. Okay, like that you have to answer. Okay. Now, as I already told, we cannot declare main method without static keyword. Clear to you all? Okay. Now, in some interviewer they will ask why you are having void. You can have int also. What is the issue? Right? I'm having int here. So what is the issue? So you will say no. It's kind of a rule. You cannot have any other return type rather than void. If you have that, What exception you will get? No such method error. Okay, when you try to forcefully run that program, in ID you cannot run itself, but in CMD or command line, you can run that Java program. Once you got the dot class, but you will get exception. It will won't run. Okay. Now, in future, we'll learn. Okay, you already know about this final keyword, right? So I will just give you a hints. Can we use final before main method? Yes, we can use. Remember, just remember that one, because method level final and all you guys have not learned, because I'm going through this main method, so I have to explain everything, what to use, what to not use. Okay, so you can use final, you can use synchronized, it will behave as it is. Okay, it will not affect anything. You can use this. Possibly what happened in interviewer now, he will write synchronize, he will ask, okay, tell me this program will run or not. So you guys will get confused, you will say, okay, like I have not told you, right, it will run or not. It will run. He will write final here, you will get confused. You will ask, it will run or not? Yes, it will run. It is running, right? Okay. Now they will ask, okay, already I told you, right? The arguments. So you will say int. Can you take int argument? No, it cannot take argument and all. Okay. Now the main thing, like most of the places, they used to do. Okay. So what they will do? They will write system. 1 second. System dot exit. Okay. Now here we have 0. So now they will write this and they will ask you, now what will happen? Any idea what will happen? Just a guess. I know like you guys have not read that and all, but I'm just asking to guess what will happen, because it's an English sentence. So if you just read it, it makes certain sense, right? Based on that, you can answer.
It
The
will
program will
stop the
not run.
execution. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
So what it will do when you run this, right? Let me run this one. So it's process finished with exit code 0. Okay. So it's just taking, it's terminating JVM stopped. When you write system dot exit na, the JVM terminates. Okay, so this program means anywhere if you write system dot exit, it will terminate your current JVM. Okay, and nothing will run. Okay, then in future also we'll see what will happen. Okay, there is a concept called finally. When I will explain finally, I will show an example with this system dot exit. You will get more idea. Okay, now they will ask you, can we use private in the place of public? Can we use private or protected? Okay, as I said, like there are modifier public, private, protected. Anyway, read, but always remember, you can only use public, no private, no protected. Okay, clear to you all, right? Okay, why we are using static? So anywhere we can access through the class name. Okay, then the major question they will ask, why this method name is main? What is the reason why we are having this method as a main method? Why we given a main name? Why Java given the main? Anything can you think about? It's pretty straightforward. You guys can easily answer this. So it's nothing much logic behind this. Okay. Only thing is that it's the name. Like might be you guys have worked on C, C++, right? So you always have a main function. Then from main function, inside the main function, you used to write a program. You remember, right? So it's taken a reference from that while naming this main method. Okay. So now any question related to main method, you guys can ask me. Any question related to main method. Like Public static void main, can you overload and all, everything I already explained.
Yeah, I have a small doubt on the static keyword.
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, I'm not sure why you are using the static and how this works.
Okay, so I already explained. Okay, so
Uh,
normally when we have a static keyword before a method, okay, so how many ways we can call that method? How a static method will get called? You have to answer me that first. So how you call the static method? Can you answer this?
yeah, we can call directly using the object or a class name or an null null value. Sorry,
Okay, null value reference basically. So basically,
null
when you
value.
use a
Yeah,
static keyword before any method, right?
yeah,
So what will happen with the class name? You can with the class name you can access that method. There is no need to create an object, right? So
yeah,
here what
correct.
happen? The JVM need to call the main method, okay, without creating an instance of the class. JVM doesn't want to create an instance of the class because who create the instance of the class? We are creating it, right?
Yes,
Okay. And since the static method belong to the class itself, right? It's like that is the reason when class okay, when you run this class first, you remember one of the class I've said the class will get loaded into the memory. Once class got loaded into the memory, right, the JVM know about everything like your method class name. Okay, with this help of your class name it will invoke your main method. Okay, that is the reason we are having this what we call this main method as a static. That is the one of the reason so that JVM can directly access that. The second reason is memory. Okay, the memory. Okay, how memory? Let us assume if you are using instance, right? You have to create an object, right? To run anything. To run that method, you need to create an object, right? And then once object got created, let us assume this objects you are having 10 properties, so it will that much of size and all, and then you will invoke that main method and execution will start, right? So it is overhead to create an object. To avoid that also, main method is static. Okay. Then third thing is like it's not dependent on anything. The only thing is dependent on this argument. If you not pass, it will pass a blank argument and it will get called. Clear to you all?
yeah. Thank you. That's clear.
So there are two things you can easily answer. The first thing, JVM can direct access this main because it's static in nature. The second thing is memory efficiency because declaring a main method static save memory and improve efficiency. How it's improved that I already answered. JVM doesn't have a overhead of creating an object, right? And that is the reason it's kind of saving the memory and all, right? Clear? Any other question? We left with 5 minutes. Today we only completed main method. So if you have any question, ask. Otherwise, I will start this var args. Okay. We have 5 minutes left, so at least we'll complete certain portion of that. Okay. So let me do one thing. Let me start with var args. Okay. So you all understand, right? You have to speak like always one person is speaking, either Mukund or Ponita. So others also have to speak like, yes, I understand this. We can move forward, right? So kind of. Okay. Now let me create another class. Example of, sorry. Okay. So remember this variable argument, right? Variable arguments, we call it VAR ARGS. We call it var arg. Okay. So VAR ARGS. This RGS are small. Okay. So we also call it variable argument. So this got introduced in Java 5. Okay. What is the use of that? So the basic use of that, let assume if you want to define a method to take multiple value on, or sorry, on of a specific type, let assume integer, string, byte, right? Then you can use the var argument. Okay. So now there are two things. Okay. We'll see how we'll do that. Let me create here. Inside that only, let me create M1. M1. Okay. So I have a requirement like this, int a. So let assume user can pass one argument. Okay, let me pass this here. Let me define this void. So user can pass one argument. Now user said same method I need to pass two argument. Okay, let me take another name. I have to perform a sum of number. So if user pass two number, I will do a sum of two number. If user pass one number, I will do a sum of one number. If user pass three number, I will do sum of three number. So like that. Okay. So now I have created int a, and then here b. Okay, let me clear this b, and then here int b, int c. Okay. Now similarly, I will do copy and paste here, int d. Okay, let me go with this 4 only because I left with a minute, so don't want to waste time now. In similar scenario, so what happened? Let us say if you pass one argument, then this will get invoked. If you pass two argument, this, three, this, four, this. Let us say like that, if you are having 10, then you will keep creating this, keep overloading this method, right? Which is to avoid this type of thing, right? Because you know that we are mostly having a similar type of data type, right? Only the number of argument is increasing, right? To avoid this, in the place of this, right, we can have this. Okay, so now inside the main method, let me create the object obj equal to new. Okay, so now I can pass obj if I have, sorry, obj dot sum. If I have one argument, it will get called. If I have two argument also, three also, four also, right, five also. So you guys understand what is the use of var args, right? Exactly which scenario it will help, right? So we left with less than minute. In the next
Do
one,
you have any maximum limit for this?
there is not a certain maximum limit. Okay, it's totally depend upon the memory that we have, right?
Oh, okay.
Definitely there will be a size boundary. The only reason is that it's like an array. Do we have limit for array? Yes, we have. Okay, so what we are passing integer, like array index is the integer number, right? What is the range of integer? That much only limit.